Hi, and thanks for tuning in to Radio Memories, where we get together here every Wednesday and share some fun radio stories when radio was still alive and kicking back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So we're going to have some guests, share some fun stories, and do some audio clips. And I hope you enjoy this stuff. We're going to be talking to some great personalities at one point in time on the radio, and people who have worked with some great people. Today, my special guest is someone I've known since junior high school. We went to junior high school. We ran the junior high school radio station together. We actually went to radio stations all over Southern California begging for records. And we were kicked out of the best radio stations in the early 70s when we were in junior high school. He went on to be a big TV guy. He's a big executive at Entertainment Tonight. His TV career also includes Solid Gold, if anybody remembers that show, Hard Copy, Arsenio Hall, Dr. Phil, The Doctors, Rachel Ray, Inside Edition, The Drew Barrymore Show, and Daily Mail TV. Now, before that, his radio career included K100, KMPC, KMGG Magic 106, and K Earth 101. So today, our special guest with his great memories, his great radio memories, is our friend Kevin GERSHAN. Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for being on the show today. I know you have a gazillion radio stories. And if you would just start off with one of your infamous Robert W. Morgan stories, because you were one of his producers. And if you would just tell the K100 story to kick off this one of your rare stories.
I will. Robert W. Morgan, one of the best morning personalities ever in LA radio, who I listened to and snuck into the station at KHJ. Eventually got a chance to work with him at K100. And I got a paid internship there as a 14-year-old kid. And my first shift was on a Saturday morning. He was on from 6 to 10. I was supposed to be there from 6 until 2. And of course, I'm an overachiever, so I got there at 5 a.m. and I'm just kind of looking around and doing stuff. And Morgan walks in and obviously wasn't informed about my presence, and just remembers me as the annoying kid who would break into KHJ and be a pain in the ass. And he says, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Oh, I work here." And he goes, "Well, then get me a cup of coffee." So I'm 14 years old. I don't know anything of a cup of coffee. There's a Money Monster promotion going on. It's in the lobby, and I figure out where the break room is.
The Money Monster machine. Which
yeah, the Money Monster machine.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll find a picture and add that in. But I find the break room, and I see this coffee machine. One coffee machine I've seen, is in restaurants, because back in the day, there weren't really Mr. Coffees at home. There were restaurant coffee makers, and at home you had a percolator. So I look in there, and there's like this restaurant grade Bunn coffee machine that hold two pots, and I see coffee sitting there, and there seems to be lights on or whatever. And I get his San Francisco 49ers coffee mug, and I pour the coffee in it, and I'm so proud of myself, and I bring it to him, and he takes a sip, and he throws it in my face. And he goes, "Did I burn you?" And I said, "No." He says, "That's because it wasn't hot." Okay. So now, a little embarrassed and soaking wet with smelly overnight coffee, I go back and wipe myself off with the paper towels and call my mommy on the phone to go, "Mom, this is so embarrassing. Coffee. How do you make coffee?" Well, he says, "Well, son, there must be a bag of coffee or something around in there, and some filters." I said, "What filters?" "Yeah, it's like a white thing. It looks like a little bit of an accordion. You pull a thing out, you put it in, you put the coffee in, you put it in. There's either a button to push where water will come out if it's hooked up to an automatic dispenser, or if there's not, you fill up one of the coffee pots with water and pour it in the top and push a button and the coffee will be made." So I figure it out. It was hooked up permanently. I just had to put the coffee in there and push the button. and it would make and it would make the coffee. So as the coffee's being made, I noticed when I was pulling the cabinet open that there was this little mini bottle of Tabasco sauce. This is new, this is before they had individual servings of Tabasco. I said, huh, I think I'm gonna get even. And I open up the Tabasco and I pour it in the coffee cup before I pour the coffee in, and I stir it up with a wooden coffee stirrer. They didn't have plastic coffee stirrers then. And I throw the stick in the thing, and I go bring him the coffee, and it's steaming. And I go, here you go, Mr. Morgan, sir. Here's your coffee. And he takes a sip of it, and it's like something out of a Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny cartoon, where like this red stuff starts at his toes, up his feet, up his ankles, up his legs, over his knee, to his thighs, up to his waist, up his torso, down his arms, up into his head, till steam comes out of his ears. And, I can see it's getting him. And I go, is it hot enough? He goes, yeah, it's perfect. Okay. And that story, I was later to find out when he selected me to be the producer for his show at KMPC. And I asked, why would you want me to produce your show? I've never produced a show. Remember that day back at K100? He said, anybody who had the balls to do that, I want producing my show.
Yeah. Yeah. He really loved you, man. He really loved you.
And I him, nobody better. We were coworkers, best friends, and I have to say, family.
He'd call you in the middle of the night. He would call you literally in the middle of the night if he had an idea or something.
Anytime. His wife Shelley used to say, other than sleeping hours, you probably spent more hours with my husband than I have.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Tell the Charlie Tuna story.
Which
about the CHP and Morgan.
Oh, okay. So coincidentally, two KHJ boss jocks, storied morning men in Los Angeles, wind up living basically on the same street in Tarzana. And Morgan was always on 6 to 10, which was the rated time period, but Tuna was on 5 to 9 or 5 to 10. So on Morgan's way to work sometime, Charlie would always be coming down the hill super fast and is very proud of El Dorado, rushing to get to work to make it in time before the first record ends that he wasn't there to hit. So
and this would be when Charlie went over to KKDJ?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
All right, and so Morgan's on the air at 710 KMPC at that time, where he replaced Dick Whittinghill. And he goes, oh, okay, we're going to have some fun with this. We were friendly with the CHP, and so we called somebody and said, here's what's going to happen. There's this guy, he's going to be speeding, whatever. So Morgan waits a little bit farther, and as he pulls on and he's speeding, woo! They red light him and they pull him over. Morgan's sitting on the side of the road ahead of that, okay, and he waits until we know it's that we've seen him go by. And when he goes by, Morgan had a CB in the radio with a speaker hidden in the grill.
The PA system, yeah.
Yeah, and as he slows down, there's nobody on the freeway at that hour. Slows down, hits the thing, goes, zap! You're Morganized, and off to work we went. So yeah, those were some of the days where you didn't want to just win on the radio. You wanted to have fun and mess with people.
It was a true competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Charlie appreciated that too. The days were fun.
And for the record, it didn't happen, but I want you to know, prior to Robert W. Morgan's passing, when he left K-Earth and they were looking for a replacement, it was Robert's desire that Charlie replace him there at K-Earth. Eventually, it was Charlie Van Dyke who did so, but he really wanted one of the semi-original boss jocks from the KHJ days, and Charlie, and rumors of their feud were greatly exaggerated.
Greatly exaggerated, and Charlie and I were very close before his passing, and he had let me know that they had put the past behind, and there was no feud, and Robert W. really was really went up. Stood up for Charlie Tuna to get that gig at K-Earth. He really wanted him to get that gig.
He really did. And Charlie is the last voice on the Robert W. Morgan Bossography, which was a little documentary I put together. And the last bite in that is Charlie Tuna saying, if I'm at all good at what I do today, a lot of what I learned about this business and being a great morning man, I learned from Robert W. Morgan.
Yeah, he really had a great respect for Robert W. And in all the times that we got to talk, where we were talking personally, and he was revealing stuff that he wouldn't reveal to everybody, but he's passed on. He had a great respect for Robert W.
Yeah.
So
everybody was competitive. Okay, everybody wanted to win, and they even wanted to beat their friends.
Oh, okay? Sure. But it was fun. It was fun. There was no real hatred.
No.
And that's what people don't understand is it was just competition. It was like going out and playing baseball. You were still buddies. But
right. You have good friends, but if you're playing your friend in the World Series, you want to walk out of that park with that trophy, not your best friend.
Sure. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to go and still hang out and still be buddies.
That's correct. All right, before we go, I just want to.
You can always come over to the house and look at the trophy.
Exactly. By the way, I want to say for who's why I'm so glad you're doing this show, because for radio geeks like you and myself and a lot of people out there, these stories are going to be gone when all of this generation of people are gone. So it's really great to get these radio memories out amongst them, and I'm so looking forward to hearing other guests on the show that aren't me, because I love their stories as much as maybe they might love mine.
You know what, and so many people actually want to do the show, and I'm so glad. Our next week we have Mucho Morales coming on the show, talking about some fun stories, at Power 106 and at KHJ and at KFRC.
Right.
So we're looking forward to that. Kevin, you and I have known each other since junior high school. We were running the junior high school radio station. Of course, you were the program director. We were taking buses as kids to every radio station. We were getting kicked out of radio stations before we knew it was wrong. And you know what? You still have radio in your blood. I want everyone to know that Kevin Gershon actually owns the KHJ microphone.
Yes, the RCA BK5B that lived in the Jock Studio at 5515 Melrose. That mic you're seeing right there in front of the Real Don Steel with RCA BK5B and the windscreen complete with Robert W. Morgan cigarette burn in there. I have in my house. I'll send a picture of that to you.
Great, because I want to show that. Maybe we can show it still right after we finish the interview. Kevin, I want to thank you for your taking the time, because I know you're busy at Entertainment Tonight there at CBS. Thank you so much. And I know you have a gazillion more stories, so let's do this again, okay? Promise that you'll make some time.
I promise. It's my pleasure. I look forward to it.
Kevin Gershon, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, KHJ.
Hello, Robert W.
I'm really in a weird mood today. This could be one of those days when this radio station could end up a taco stand by noon with a special on green burritos. May I help you?
Hi.
Oh, Lucy, you're so damn bad. Yes, can I help you? I can't do much for him. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I want to get more organized.
How come?
I guess we're going to Dune Buggy Race.
Where?
Glamis.
Glamis?
Yeah.
Where's that?
I don't know.
Approximately where? I never heard of it.
It's 3 hours past Riverside. That's all I know.
That's the name of my new album, 3 Hours Past Riverside. Okay, a dune buggy race in Glamis.
Uh-huh.
You're sure it's not Guaymas?
No, it's Glamis. We got about 6 or 7 families going with us.
Glamis.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like... Well, never mind. Okay, what is your first name?
Lori.
And what is your dune buggy's name?
I don't know.
Okay, Lori, and I don't know, Zap. You're Morganized.
Robert W. Morgan, 93 KHJ.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Radio Memories. Coming up next Wednesday, we've got radio legend Mucho Morales. He was, of course, in the 70s. He was on KFRC, on KHJ here in Los Angeles, and then Power 106 KPWR, 70,000 watts of music power. And he's got some great radio memories that he'll be sharing with us. That's coming up next Wednesday on our next episode of Radio Memories, available on YouTube. Just look up Radio Memories. And until then, have a great week, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.